Hey, what's going on? Episode 2 of the Relentless Positivity Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Martin. Thank you for being here. Let me read a word from our sponsors right now. I don't have any sponsors. Okay, let's move on. So here's episode 2. We're going to talk about a few things. First, we're going to talk about what's going on in Dubuque, Iowa. Who's up on that? Dubuque, Iowa. You ever been there? I haven't, but they got something awesome going on that I just heard about. Started it last year with their school system. The kids could get PE credit with canoeing, hiking, and doing yard work for elderly people. How cool is that, man? You can get credit for doing something really fun like that. So I'm thinking, hey, almost all of our kids are doing virtual schooling right now, right? Coming up when school starts. Why not add that into it? Why can't we go out instead of doing something, hey, go out and walk for 30 minutes or whatever. I'm not sure what PE is going to look like. It's probably not going to be the same. How about we go out and help some people in the community? It can be socially distanced. We can stay apart. Because there's somebody doing it right now. Rodney Smith Jr., if you heard of him, he's doing it across the nation. He's kind of staying around Alabama right now, but he's been mowing yards for elderly, single moms, veterans, disabled, people like that. He's been doing it for probably maybe 5 years, something like that. He's going around doing that. Why can't we start that? Get him involved in the school systems, get them work together, get the school credit for helping somebody out. You can mow their yard. He's also dropping off food and helping people out. Why can't our kids do that and get school credit for that? I think it's a good idea. What do you think? Yeah, and also, if you know Rodney Smith Jr., I'd love to interview him for this podcast and get me set up with him. So what he has going on is he's a founder of Raising Men Lawn Care. And what they do is it's kind of like the martial arts system where they start with this shirt, and then when they mow 10 yards, they get a new shirt. To go up to 50 yards, and then you get a new lawnmower. You get I don't cut grass. What do they get? A weed eater and one of those blower things. They get all that for mowing 50 yards. So these kids are going to do that for, like I said, single women and single moms, disabled people, veterans, elderly, that type of stuff. So these kids could do that and not only get that, but maybe school credit too. So somebody hook that up. Get those people together. Maybe we can get together with the land trust too and get these kids some hiking and PE credits too. So looking at some alternatives right there. That's a great guy. Rodney Smith Jr., shout out to that guy. He's doing amazing work, helping kids. He also does it for girls as well. So raising women as well, not just raising men. So he's got a separate section for that as well. So check him out. You can Google. He's all over the place. Awesome guy. Appreciate what you're doing out there. That's a guy doing some relentless positivity. So that's pretty cool right there. So they get their 50 yards. So it's weareraisingmen.com is his website. So let's get those PE credits. Let's get the word out about him and help him out. They've already, let's see, they've got 700 kids right now. Over 15,000 yards have been mowed due to this guy just starting it out. He just did it on his own. Cool guy. Appreciate what you're doing. All right, moving on. Let me talk about jumping to conclusions. So I'm going to start with a story about when I was in Mexico one time with a couple of my friends, Josh and Willie. We were all sitting around having excellent fajitas in Mexico, Rosarito Beach, Mexico, and we're having a good time. We sit up, and all of a sudden Willie gets a strange look on his face, and he leaves. And he does weird things, so we didn't think anything up. So we just go back to eat our meal and start looking at each other like, hey, Willie's been gone an awful long time. Where do you think he went? Like, all right, I'm going to go check the bathroom. So I go check in the bathroom, and if you're watching us on video, so I apologize for what you're about to see. But so I go in, got my extra long cord today. So he's in the stall, bent over with his shirt off, going, you appreciate these noises right here. So I go in there and find out he gives me the international sign of choking. Starts pointing at his throat, grabbing. I was like, oh my gosh, I know the Heim. I'm gonna go save his life. So I go in and get behind him, and I'm giving him the thrust you're supposed to give people, right? So I'm giving him the Heimlich and giving it all. She's got captain, and it's not working. He's still got his shirt off. I got him bent over the bathroom stall, and two guys walk in, and everybody freezes, and everyone gets quiet because it doesn't look right. Right? So they jumped to conclusions. That wasn't what was going on. I was trying to save his life, not become his man wife. We're just trying to help the man out. So I'm talking about jumping to conclusions. So why you shouldn't jump to conclusions, there's several reasons, but it can affect not only your relationships, but also your mental health. So if you jump, how many times have you misread a text or email? When you're like, oh my gosh, what are they? Because you can't hear how the person is saying it. You jump to these conclusions, and you're all mad about all these different things, and they have no idea what's going on. You're over there thinking these, and they don't know what's happening. So you see threats where none are there. So we're going to talk about a little bit of jumping to conclusions. Let me talk about an experience I had. Another one with jumping to conclusions. So it was the 8th grade dance at Challenger Middle School. And we've gone to the dance. I'm getting a ride home. My friend Chris Hall, another one. A bunch of my friends in this story. But anyway, riding home, his dad's got this nice Cadillac. and he drops me off. I shut the door and I go inside. And I think that's it. Big deal. Just drop me off. I go in there. But apparently, when I got out, I slammed the door super hard, slamming Cadillac doors. I think they wrote a song about that later on by Outkast. But anyway, so I have no idea what's going on. So Chris calls me later. He's like, "Man, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. What's going on?" He's like, "Are you mad about something? What's up?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, why did you slam the door so hard when I got out?" He's like, "Oh, man, I'm sorry about that." So my parents had a Delta 88 Oldsmobile, and man, this door weighed 500 pounds. So if you didn't bring your A game, you couldn't shut the door. So this nice, well-oiled machine of a door on this Cadillac about broke his windows when I shut it. There was nothing going on. I wasn't mad about anything. Everything was fine. I just almost broke the man's door just because it's what I was used to. So that's what I'm talking about, jumping to conclusions. So I looked up some things. So we look at Psychology Today's 5 steps for not jumping to conclusions. So first thing is you think about the pastime. So the pastime was talking about my friend Chris, and he thought I was about to break his door because I was mad at him about something. So think about past times that you have done this. It probably didn't end that well when you jump to conclusions, right? So sometimes it's helpful to think about these pastimes, look them up, and go through those. So that's our first step. Number 2, try to look at the whole picture. Don't just read the headline. That's what a lot of people do today. Try to get the whole picture before you start jumping to conclusions. Get as much information as you can before you just go off. All right, number 3, think about optical illusions. So it's helpful to also think about, you ever seen those things where it looks like there's 2 arrows and this one looks longer because it's drawn different, they're the exact same length or something like that? Or you see a 9 upside down, and the other person sees a 6. What are these optical illusions? Sometimes you look at, what's Gary Busey always talk about, fear being false evidence appearing real. Shout out Gary Busey's teeth. So think about these things. Because sometimes what you see may not be what it is in reality. It's helpful to think about that. All right, number 4, don't be too quick to judge. How many times have you been in a restaurant and you're like, what is that dude staring at? You better keep looking, see what happens. When he's just watching a TV over your head. Did that ever happen to you? He's like, this dude is still staring. You think, do I have something in my teeth? Does he need something from me? What's going on? He's just watching ESPN over your head. So think about that. Don't be too quick to judge. That kind of gets back to getting the whole information, but still, don't be too quick to judge. Think it through. And the 5th one right here, think about movie and TV examples of characters that have jumped to conclusions, and you can laugh at them, but you think about the negative consequences they have. So the example they use in Psychology Today was the famous episode on Friends when Ross, what are the other ones? Ross and Rachel. We were on a break. It's just miscommunication, right? They thought they were on a break. So look at TV and examples like that so you don't have to go through it. So it's helpful to see other people go through things and see those negative connotations. So especially right now with how the world is, we don't need to be jumping to conclusions. So try to slow down, think about these things before you go through. Give people a little bit of grace and maybe assume the best. Don't see threats where none are there. Try to think on the positive side of things. All right, we're going to end things like we always do with a dad joke. So this one, why are stormtroopers lonely? Because they miss everybody. Get it? They're terrible shots. All right, well, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Episode 2 in the books. They're going to get better. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, all that stuff. Talk to you later.